And this morning, I guess they had our coveted U.S. flag. It was upside down. So that is not good, because I know there's a lot of ex-military and some current military in the room. And we have our keynote speaker from the Secret Service. So sorry about that. I'm glad whoever caught that fast, and that would have been really embarrassing if that, and disrespectful if that would have been up there for the day. So, okay. Today I have Derek Booth, who is a supervisory special agent from the U.S. Secret Service. And Derek is a founding member of the Mountain West Cyber Fraud Task Force, which consists of 300 members of federal, state, local law enforcement, network security personnel, private business owners, and academia partners in the Rocky Mountain region. The MWCFTF's mission is to investigate cybercrime in the Mountain West states while supporting our task force partners' cyber investigations, including ransomware, network intrusion attacks, ATM, gas pump skimming, business email compromise, computer, cell phone forensics. Derek became a computer cell phone forensic examiner in 2012 after spending the first 13 years of his job protecting a plethora of dignitaries, including President George Bush's family. And Derek graduated from Southern Utah University with a master's in accounting, and originally was St. George, Utah. So for the staff that's in the room, once Derek starts speaking, if we please continue to serve, but if I could ask you not to pick up plates, so we can keep the noise down a little bit. And also, when you have questions, Derek is going to leave time for some Q&A, and it's been great that you guys have all been asking questions. Please wait for the microphone to come, because we have 180 people listening virtually, and we have probably about 170 people here. So we want to make sure that everyone can hear the questions. So please just, and don't not ask a question because you don't want to be on the microphone. It's really not that big of a deal. So we appreciate your questions. So with all that being said, everyone, let's welcome Derek Booth to the stage.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I put my email address up there. Hang on a sec. Nope. My email address is not up there. Maybe it's there. Stand by. There we go. You're going to see my email address here in a second. If you have any questions, you got any comments, you got any issues or anything after this, please shoot me an email. If you got any complaints or criticisms, then you're going to see that email. Stand by. There goes my first joke. So, all right. Lost that one, didn't I? But we got a good crowd, I can already tell. So enjoy your chicken. Try the veal. I heard it's fantastic. So thanks to Kim, Mike, Andrew, letting me come back. I was here last year. Just a little bit of history about me. I've been with the Secret Service 26 years. Spent the first 13 years protecting people. Anybody that ran for president over the last pretty much 26 years and lost, I protected them in some form or fashion. In 2000, I was assigned to Joe Lieberman and his family. 2004, I was on the Bush detail. That one didn't really count. 2008, I was assigned to the Palins and John McCain. 2012, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. 2016, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. And in 2020, that was a little anomaly. Nobody did anything because he was in his basement and nobody moved. And then 2024, I was assigned to Hillary Clinton for a little bit, or sorry, Joe Biden for a little bit. And look where we are. So if you want someone to run for president and lose, send them my way and I'll take care of them. So this is the email address you're supposed to send to if you got any criticisms or complaints or issues like that. So make sure you get that FBI in there. So, okay, a little history about Secret Service. Ironically, the Secret Service was started on April 14th, 1865. President Lincoln met with his Secretary of Treasury that day, and they talked about the counterfeit money that was in the country because of the Civil War. They decided, hey, we need to start up an investigative arm of the government to fight counterfeit money. Ironically, that same night is when Abraham Lincoln went to Ford's Theater, and John Wilkes Booth walked in and did his number. So the first question usually people ask me is, are we related? And Forrest Gump's helping me out on that one. So we are not relations. We do have the same eyes, don't you think? I think his are blue too, but anyway. A little bit more about the Secret Service. We evolved. You guys know this. You guys know what we do. You know we protect the president, we protect the vice president, and all the dignitaries and all that they do. But we did start back in 1865 as an investigative branch, and that's what we do, and that's what we started doing. This is getting out of control. So in 1999, I just want to give you a little perspective, and that's what I want to give you today more than anything, is perspective from my viewpoint, from cybersecurity, and then also hopefully a little ammunition and some power to go back to your C-suite, your executives, your CISOs and those, and talk about the things that we're going to talk about today, and hopefully that'll help you. But in 99, when I came on the job, this is what we did. We fought identity theft. Identity theft was the big key fancy word back then. Counterfeit checks, credit card numbers, that's what we went after. That has since evolved. In 2025, this is just a piece of what we talk about and deal with on a daily basis. Kim mentioned I'm the coordinator for what we call our cyber fraud task force in the Mountain West region, Rocky Mountain region. These are all of the crimes that come across our desks every day, and this is what we try to tackle. I've only got a team of 7 agents in my office. 4 agents and 3 analysts as of right now. 2 are on their way to the Trump detail. We've got another one coming in from training. So that's constantly evolving, and we just do what we can. We do the best we can. How we deal with that, and we'll talk about our cyber fraud task force at the end, and if you want to join up and be a part of us, I've got an email, a real email on there. You can send me an email. But this is what we deal with on a daily basis, and let's get into some stats. I'm a big statistician, so let's get into this. I'm a big IC3 guy. Let me plug for the FBI real quick. This is the only thing that they do well. You guys all laughed. I don't understand. I do love IC3. Fantastic resource. I tell everybody and their mother, if you have problems, if you're a victim, if you want training, if you want stats, you want information, go to ic3.gov. It's a great resource, great tool, and the FBI does a couple other things good. You come tell me what they are. I don't know what they are, but I do want to point out we can see the pivot in life right here in front of our face. 2021, we're at 6.9 billion. We've almost tripled that in the last 3 years. And we'll get into how that number, that $16.6 billion number, grew so exponentially this last year especially. But those numbers are staggering. These are the crimes. This is what we're talking. This is what we're going to talk about and dive into. And I appreciate Tim and Steve before me, dialing this up. This was perfect timing. Perfect organization. Investment scams, business email compromise, these are the big ones. That investment scam just multiplied like crazy this last year. But the biggest crimes out there all start with phishing. They all start with phishing. These are the top trends that we're seeing. Investment scams, business email compromise. Ransomware is in there, but it's very low. But we'll talk about why that's such an impactful crime and what the bad guys are accomplishing with that. So let's dive into this. Again, this is IC3's numbers. This is by complaint type, and look at phishing. It's still sitting at the top. And hence the term in my title of my talk. Are we in Groundhog Day? We can't get out of Groundhog Day because it's the same thing over and over again. And this has been the same thing for the last 5-6 years. We can't get away from phishing because it's still our #1 attack vector. So let's talk about it just a little bit more. The social engineering aspect, the way AI is diving into that is crazy. It's making a dramatic effect, and it's opening the door. I call it a gateway crime. Phishing is opening the door to everything else. If we can stop the phishing, we can go home. We're done. Most of what we're going to talk about today is over. But Tim talked about the human element earlier. 100%. That's what we're talking about. That's why they're getting in the door. And those vectors are not only just the phishing emails now. Now we're talking about voicemail calls. Now we're talking about smishing texts. We're talking about the social engineering. And of course, AI is helping do that for those bad guys. But also AI, as Tim pointed out, AI can help us defend that and counter that. Big attack not too long ago. Ransomware attack came through. I believe CrowdStrike reported this. Bad guys came through social engineering. They called the help desk and pretended that, hey, I need to change my password. You have a problem. You need to change your passwords. And that's how they got through a phishing phone call. Okay. Here's just a couple of examples. These are just off of my phone. These are smishing texts that I got within the last, 60 days. I keep pictures of these just as when I know I'm going to give a presentation. I try to update these as much as possible to keep them fresh. I guarantee by a show of hands, everybody in this room has received at least one of these in the last 30 days. Maybe today. Anybody today? Just out of curiosity? 2, 3, 4. That's crazy. But that's life right there. This is one I got. This is my personal attack, if you will. About 3 years ago, I ordered something on Amazon. I immediately got this text message. I ordered from my laptop. I got this on my cell phone. Hey, you have a suspicious transaction. Click here. I didn't click there. The next day in my Gmail, I get this email. And hey, we've had suspicious activity through a smishing attack. Click here to report. Now, I apologize because I can't blow that up much better than it is. Can anybody from where you're sitting see how you know that's a bogus attack? Anybody? And I apologize, I don't mean to give you an eye exam here. Yes, ma'am. Amazon's misspelled. I think Amazon knows how to spell Amazon. I'm pretty sure. And then down below, there's some bad English. So there we go. At least I pointed them out that way. Amazon knows how to spell Amazon, and they use good English when they send it out. So this is a great attack, and this is a double whammy. They hit with the smishing attack, and then they follow it up with the phishing email. Great scam. Okay, how do we combat this? I don't want to bring you all the way down to the depression mode. There are ways to combat it. You guys are talking about it right now. You've got software across the hall. You've got all kinds of tools. I'm a big fan of training and send out those training emails. This is one, the Secret Service sends one out almost every week. It wasn't every week, maybe it's every month now. You know when these come out in the office, especially if you're late, because you hear all the bad language and the French being used in our offices, because guys go crazy when they fall for it. Quick story, my wife works at a middle school. She received one of these training emails not too long ago. She didn't click on the link, but it was something she needed to get to. She did what I told her to do. She went up, she looked at the email header, she did all her due diligence, she did everything she was supposed to do, and she's like, hey, this is legit. I know it's legit, but I'm pretty sure this is a training email, a training exercise. And she did, she finally clicked on it, and it sure popped up. Hey, this is a training exercise. She got super mad. She stormed down to the IT guy's office, pounded her fist on the desk, and demanded justice. And I came home, and she was still red in the face, and I just laughed at her. I go, babe, that guy did his job, because you will never click on another link ever again. I slept on the couch that night, but it was worth it. So, okay. I don't know if you guys, I know some of you guys are my age. Sesame Street, man, I can't talk about fishing without thinking of Bert and Ernie. You know, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. It's in my head. Every time somebody says fishy, I think we should do public service announcements with this, personally. Put this on TV, and people would stop clicking on these links. And I just tell people, just don't click on a link. I tell my employees, everybody we train, just stop clicking on links. Even if it comes from Secret Service, stop the links. Go to the email, go to the website directly, and just stay away completely. Okay, let's get into investment scams. This is the biggest jump over the last couple years. From 2023 to 2024, 3.8 billion to 9.3 billion. This is insane. And we are getting 2 to 3 calls a day in our office in Denver. And we're not a huge office. We're not New York. We're not LA. We're not Chicago. We are getting overwhelmed and overrun. We have 2 analysts. All they do all day long is trace crypto. That's it. And we've had a couple small seizures, nothing worth bragging about. But most of the crypto we trace, and then it disappears. We can get to it, we can find it, but then eventually it's gonna peter out. And if we do get to it, it's gone. Then it was gone within minutes, seconds. This is overwhelming. Here's a couple of examples. This is an older gentleman. We'll start small. 237,000. You guys are like, really? That's small? Yes, that is small. These numbers are growing exponentially because of this very thing. So this is a very common attack. Bad guy's sitting there. He gets connected with a younger girl. She connects with him usually on WhatsApp or Telegram or something, and they just start talking. And the guys, and this is elderly scam, romance scam, investment scam, you name it. All of it is kind of combined in one. Anyway, good guy doesn't know. He's older. He doesn't know. He hears about crypto. He hears about Bitcoin. He hears his grandkids talk about it, so he's like, hey, can you teach me how to invest in crypto? Absolutely. And so she gets him on the hook, and he bites, and she fattens him up and pig butchers him. And next thing you know, he sent $237,000 down to Southeast Asia. There's been news stories out there about these compounds down in Southeast Asia, and this is all they do. People are human trafficked to be stuck in these compounds. They're armed with armed guards. They can't leave. So they're victims of human trafficking. Now the bad guys got them down there, and what they do is they push them, just like a sales rep, to go out and scam people. And this is all they do all day long. So it's quite a machine. Here's a bigger one. This is an older female in southern Denver. This is an older lady. She remortgaged her home, I guess. She spent $3.1 million just in wire transfers to Hong Kong banks. And she didn't tell anybody about this for 3 or 4 months after the fact. So by the time we get involved, it's way too late. Money's gone. There's nothing we can do about it, except console her, really. But same deal. Hey, somebody's going to teach me how to invest in crypto, and that's how she got on the hook. And she did lose money in the investing, but she sent the wire transfers directly, and that was another deal. This is one of the scams. This is from a training slide. This is the best thing I could put together. So this is a job scam. Somebody receives this over text or Telegram. Hey, do you want to, we've been looking at your profile on LinkedIn. You're perfect for this job. If you're interested, click here. And here's what's crazy is I've never known a job where I had to pay them money. Usually they pay me money to get that job. But this scam says to the victim, hey, you need to pony up $30,000, and then you'll get this job. People fall for that because they're so desperate for the job. But this is how it starts. Hey, this is how they're connected. Here's an example of what the bad guy teaches the victim. This is an app. This is an app that the bad guy manipulates, and it shows, hey, you have $1.8 billion in the bank, and they really don't in that account. This is all manipulated. The whole thing is manipulated. So when good guy finally wants to release his money, it's gone. And the BS excuses that the victim gets from the bad guy are endless. You got to pay taxes. The one we just had the other day was insider trading fee. The other one was a capital manipulation fee. And I'm forgetting a couple of these, but they just come up with bogus reasons why you can't get your money when they try to withdraw them. This is a constant hit. On top of that, now the scammers are doubling down, and they're sending out bogus recovery company links and advertisements. So bad guys now, or the victim has already lost $1 million. Now he's getting hit from a supposedly recovery company to, hey, I'm going to help you recover that money. And then they get him on the hook and they say, hey, give us $500, give us $5,000, and we'll help you get your money back. That's 2.0. So that's fantastic for those guys. That's a win for the bad guy, a loss for us. Okay, that's investment scam. So going back, this is the biggest jump right here. And I should have put this slide back up there. 12.5 billion to 16.6 billion. 2024 alone, that investment scam was 9-point-something billion. So just investment scams in 2024 is even greater than all scams in 2021. That's pretty impressive and pretty depressing at the same time. So, okay, let's get into business email compromise. We talked about this last hour. This is the number one attack that we're getting besides investments. Investment scams still number one. As far as network intrusion attacks, bad guys actually getting their fingers or malware onto somebody's system. This is what we're getting. And most of these are mom and pop shops because they don't know what to do with it. They don't have a big, nice IR firm to call or a legal department. So they call their local police department. Local police department doesn't know what to do with it. So they call us, and so we respond and we talk to them. Just in Secret Service alone, 24% of our attacks ended up business email compromise. Biggest, easiest thing, bad guy gets in, spoofs somebody's email. They either get in and they change forwarding rules, they change the filtering, they change a character in the email, and then they launch out those emails to all of their victims. And then, again, they're just phishing. They hope somebody bites. This is a real example. We had a real estate client in Denver. Bad guy got into their email, and hacked into their email, send out emails requesting these new wire transactions. They all went out of state. The company didn't tell us about it. $765,000 out the window. Same deal here. This is an older victim. We could call this elderly fraud, 1.2 million. Again, bad guy connects with them. He's an executive. And this is one of the most common attacks that we're seeing is, hey, we need to reset your bank account number. Here's your new wiring instructions. Here's the new bank account number. This is what blows me away, is we talked about multi-factor authenticating. How in the hell does somebody not multi-factor authenticate $1.2 million? And just pick up a phone or a phone or a video call or something and say, hey, Bill, it's Julie. I'm sending my wires over to you. But they don't. They don't. And they get caught up in the day-to-day basis. It's a weekend. They're stressed. They're busy. They get in a rut. And this is how it happens. Then on top of that, and I hope if you take anything else away from today, please take this. If you get hit for any kind of wire fraud or a business email compromise and you report it to a federal agency within 72 hours, guess what? You're going to get your money back. It's really high. The odds of getting your money back are very high if you can report it within 72 hours. It's not an end-all be-all number because we've had some even go later than that. We've had some within the 72 hours we can't get to for whatever reason from the banks. But if anything you take away from today, don't be embarrassed. And that's what most people, they get ashamed, they get embarrassed, they get crazy. I love Tim's talk before. Employees, you got to empower them. You got to make them feel comfortable. If they make a mistake, make them, hopefully they'll come forward and report it. So they don't bury it, and then 2 weeks later they call you and say, hey, I gotta confess something. I just lost $100,000, and it was 3 weeks ago. If you can empower your employees, tell them, hey, we can get that back. How are they getting? Again, phishing emails is the number one. They changed the bank account information. Here's our new bank account information. Here's your instructions. Changing the email forwarding rules is huge. The timing is always big on these. Usually it's a holiday, weekends. Bad guys are getting in, and this is one thing that's been different over the last few years. I feel like that they've gotten in and they've gotten more patient. They will get in and they'll gather intel. They'll get into your account managers or your CFO or your CEO's email, and they'll hang out and they'll figure out, okay, when do wire transfers go out? When do wire exchanges happen on a regular basis? And then they figure out that, hey, the CFO is going to Cancun, and he's coming back on Tuesday. Okay, so on Tuesday morning, you're going to hit him with this email. And he's got 400 emails he's just plowing through. And he's just like, yeah, delete, or forward, or whatever he's going to do. This is when they're hitting. Again, what can we do? Well, you as a victim can contact the bank, and you can file indemnification, and they can recall the wire. That's happened quite a bit, especially if it's within the 72 hours, especially in 24 hours. And then you can contact us, and we can launch a kill chain request through the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, through FinCEN, and we've had great success with this. One thing to point out, though, we've seen quite a few people where they're attacked with a BEC attack. Bad guy's still in there. Victims they think they've cleaned up their system. Again, bad guy will get into those emails, and he'll catalog your emails, and so he knows, hey, I've got all these emails, and he might hit you with another round of it later, or he might hit you up with ransomware on the back end. So they're really kind about that. They're really great. They're so nice. But again, time is of the essence. Please report it. Here's an example. This was in Colorado. A large construction company was building this new church for a big group this is El Paso County, Colorado Springs area. Bad guys got into the construction company, send this email, hey, this is new bank account information, $920,000. The church got a hold of this. They figured it out within about a day. They called us, and we were able to reverse that. And they got their money back, all $920,000. So those are wins, and we love the wins. We hate the losses. We actually had another task force officer of ours. Her dad became a widow, and he got some life insurance money, and he went and bought a condo. This is in Colorado Springs again. And escrow company reached out for him. Hey, here, you need to transfer some money to your attorney, and $300,000 worth. As soon as he launched it, He got something went off in his head, felt a funny feeling, something, and he called his daughter, who's a cop. She called us, and we reversed that immediately. $350,000. So those are definitely wins that we love to grab. Okay, let's get into some of these. Pig butchering. You guys hear this all the time. Bad guys just fatten up the victim. They string them along as much as they can. How do they get them? All these different ways right here. So this is a big one, tech support scams. We just got a call yesterday. We've got another one in Colorado Springs. Major bank. It's not Wells Fargo, but let's just say it's Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo fraud department is reaching out, supposedly. These are the bad guys. Wells Fargo fraud department is reaching out to customers saying, hey, we've got fraud on your account. Pay us, pay me $50, pay me $500. Give me access to your account. Or just give me access to your computer. Install TeamViewer here, and we'll scan it for malware. The calls out of this from Microsoft, Apple, Google, you name it, are endless, and this is a great scam. And it's only growing, $1.46 billion this year. This is another one. You get a pop-up on the computer screen. This was an older couple in Colorado, $280,000, not that big a deal. They got a pop-up on their screen, older couple, live kind of out in the woods a little bit, and the message said, your bank account has been compromised, but this is what really got them. Someone's been purchasing weapons and child pornography with your bank account. Now think about a young, older couple who they've done everything right their whole life, and they get something with child pornography in their bank account. Do you know the panic and the stress that happens right there? If that gentleman doesn't have a pacemaker right then and there, he's gonna have one later, right? Because these guys freaked out. They will pay anything it takes to get these guys off their computer. And that's a great scam. And that's exactly what happened. So please send us Bitcoin, and they did. They sent the money. The romance scams, again, these as well are going everywhere. Every presentation I give, whether it's cops, high school kids, middle school kids, I say, hey, pay attention to your parents, pay attention to your grandparents, pay attention to your older siblings, whoever it might be. Everybody's getting hit with this. And the way they're connecting is endless. They're coming through Facebook Instant Messenger, they're coming through emails, coming through voicemails, phone calls. They always start slow and always start small. $500, $1,000. Once they get them on the hook, then they just continue to fatten them up. We had a woman come in, she was a widow, she inherited all kinds of these commercial buildings from her husband. Family called me in a panic. She's sending $30,000 transfers to the Philippines to the love of her life. Can you talk any sense into her? She came in, we sat down with her, I proved to her, I showed her the Facebook page that she was connected to. I said, these are bogus pictures. Whoever you're talking to is bogus. I almost guarantee they're not in the Philippines, and it's not who he says he is. Well, I love him. He's the love of my life. Have you ever met this guy? No. I've talked to him on the phone. We've talked for the last 30 days. I love this man. How much have you get? $250,000. And just constant. We proved to her that it's bogus. I said, do you believe us? Yes, I believe you. She walked out the door and she called the guy back. Just as she walked out the door. The son-in-law called me about this because it's like, at that point, we're like, listen, we can't get involved. You're on your own. We can't get in the middle of that. But this is happening endless. Government impersonation, law enforcement calls. Okay, I'm here to tell you, and I feel very confident about this, to tell you what I'm going to tell you next. There's not a law enforcement agency in the universe, not even in a galaxy far, far away, okay, that's going to call you to tell you they're coming to arrest you. Not going to happen, okay? So when you get that call, just hang up. And guess what? If you do take the call and they say, hey, if you buy some gift cards, we'll go away. That might be something called a clue, okay? So don't fall for that one, please. I had a good friend in Colorado not too long ago, very well educated, very successful, runs his own business. He called me in a full-fledged panic. I thought he was having a heart attack. Derek, I need your help. The U.S. Marshals are coming to arrest me. Alan, I promise you, the U.S. Marshals are not coming to arrest you. They sound so real. They sound so convincing. That doesn't happen, but this does happen. This happens constantly, okay? So no, remember, no government agency is gonna call you to tell you we're coming to arrest you. If you are being arrested, you might get the call. It's going to be from a megaphone outside your house, okay? But not in your text message or not through your email or through a phone call, okay? This was another example. I think this is my last example on pig butchering. This is an older gentleman. Parkinson's is kicking in with this guy. 1.3 million in crypto. Four different apps. I hadn't even heard of 3 of these apps when his daughter called. We had to go do some research. We talked to him. That money was gone. We traced it. We traced it until it ran out. It was gone, disappeared. So this started where I'm going. This started with a text. I haven't heard from you. Has anybody in this room gotten that? I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard from any of you guys. God, you guys are jerks. What the heck? I haven't heard from you. That's how it started. And actually, another agent in our office, my squad, a younger agent, he's pretty aggressive. He had to go, and this is you're gonna laugh at this, but he had to go on a Hunter Biden detail temp for a couple days. Has nothing to do with the story. I just thought it was funny. And he gets one of these emails. He gets one of these texts like on the first day, and he's working midnights for like 5 nights. And so he strings this guy along for 5 nights just to stay awake. He's like, I got nothing else to do. I'm just gonna keep going. And somewhere in there, the guy's like, hey, you wanna learn how to mine Bitcoin? And he's like, really, mine? I've always wanted to be one of the 7 dwarfs. I mean, I get like a pickaxe and a shovel, and I'm gonna go mine some Bitcoin. Yeah, let's go, I'm in. So this is how these start, and this is a big one. I haven't heard from you. Okay, let's get into ransomware. Don't be skewed by the numbers, and these numbers are interesting. It went up and up and up, and then all of a sudden the number tanked. Those numbers are garbage. These numbers are trash when it comes to ransomware, I'm convinced. Number 1, nobody reports ransomware. I'm convinced that, I don't know my number, I'm gonna say 70% of companies out there will not report ransomware because they're afraid of what the federal agencies are gonna do to them. They're scared to death that we're gonna shut you down, we're gonna go to the press, we're gonna notify the press that you have a problem. Guess what's funnier than Hunter, well, never mind, I won't talk about Hunter Biden any longer. The funniest statement I'm gonna say today is if you think a federal agent likes the press in any shape or form, you are smoking crack, okay? Nobody hates the US media more than a Secret Service agent, maybe an FBI agent. We can't stand them. We're not gonna go to the press. We wanna keep you whole. All we're doing, we wanna trace it. We wanna track where did the bad guys go, how did they get in, what did they do, and where did it go, right? So it's just basic, infiltration and exfiltration. That's what we wanna know, because we wanna throw handcuffs on the bad guy at the end of the day. We also know that 90% of these are gonna go overseas, and we can't touch them. But at least we can deter it. If you can tell us how they got in, we can pass that on to the guys next down the line. And we can stop kicking the can of paying ransomware fees to bad guys and stop kicking the can of letting ransomware hold our country hostage. I'm very passionate about this one, but I also understand businesses have to stay in business. Good friend of mine who's a dentist, he hired a clearinghouse, if you will, to run his payroll and his records. He was one of 10 orthodontists that were used in this clearinghouse. And then the clearinghouse got hit with ransomware. So what did they do? Well, the bad guys are smart. Okay, we figured out there's 10 orthodontists all coming to this one place. These guys got money. But I don't want to get too greedy. But if I just say $30,000 each of those 10, wow, that's a chunk of change. That's a good hit. And my buddy called me and said, hey, what do you think? And I said, dude, please do not pay the money. They ended up paying the money because he'd been in business for 10 years. And he said, every one of my patients' records is in that system. I can't function. I can't go back to paper and pencil. I can't do it. And that's why this is so crucial and such a great attack. Bad guys know this, so they're coming after businesses for money, but they're also going after municipalities and healthcare facilities, especially hospitals, because they know if a hospital goes down and you can control their power, control their AC, control anything, they're so desperate, they're gonna pay anything they want. We did an exercise, like a tabletop exercise with a major hospital in Denver not too long ago. And we had IT guys, and we had the security guys, and then we had the hospitality people, and they threw out a scenario like, okay, if ransomware hits the hospital, what if? How's this gonna affect you? How's this gonna affect you? And everybody to a T went around the room like, oh, no big deal, no big deal, no big deal, no big deal, until you got to the surgeon over here. And the surgeon's like, what if I got a patient on that operating table and I lose power? What then? Well, we got backups. Okay, we got backups. What if it's a heart surgery that's going, you're talking like hours worth of surgery. Yeah, our backups and our generators work for only, a few hours, but then what happens? That changed the whole mentality of everybody. So that changes the defense, but also think about for the bad guy. That's why they're doing it. They know those hospitals are so desperate that they'll pay the money out, no big deal. Okay, again, don't look at that number. There's no way it's 12.5 million. There's no way. And it also depends on who you look at. I got numbers here in a second. How are they getting in? Still, phishing is the #1 attack vector, even when it comes to ransomware. During COVID, we saw a huge uptick in remote desktop protocol attacks, and then also software vulnerabilities, supply chain attacks, and then exploitation of operating systems. Just updating our systems makes all the difference. So we had a couple of attacks that we got very much involved in. A couple of these involved some of our task force partners. So two of my analysts went out like the day of, within 12 hours of realizing this had happened, they launched. And so they sat down with the IT team. Ironically, going back to the way I was saying, people are scared to death how feds are going to respond. The IT manager in this municipality was literally suicidal. And my two analysts walked in the door, they calmed her down, and they basically said, you know what, it's not the end of the world. We're going to fix this. It's going to get fixed. Legal got involved, an incident response team got involved. These guys paid the money. So this one, these guys did pay because they did launch it. It was bad guys were asking for, I think, $500,000. They got them down to $50,000. So there's some negotiating, and these guys actually paid the money. They had intrusion detection and prevention systems up. They just weren't paying attention. They were beeping. They were alarming. Nobody paid. They just literally kept hitting reset. No, who cares? That came through RDP on that one. This was the one. This was the other one. This is the one that the IT manager. Sorry, I was getting these two backwards. The IT manager was suicidal. She was panicking. But these guys, once they calmed her down and they kind of started putting paper, pencil and paper together, that's what these guys did. They actually built their systems back together and got their records involved and everything, just back the old-fashioned way. They opened up Excel spreadsheets and started over. And they didn't pay because, number one, they did have some backups, and they were able to recover a big portion of their systems. But it's just an example. How this one happened was an old Windows 7 machine sitting over in the corner. I'm pretty sure one of the IT guys used that for his fantasy football porn and other things that he just forgot about. He sat over in the corner, didn't even realize that it was part of the network, and just literally just spaced it. So when they came in and they realized, and this happened on a Monday morning, the IT manager said she came in on Monday morning. She's like, you know what? On Sunday night, I saw something suspicious. I saw somebody had logged in, and so I called that person and said, hey, are you in the system? And they're like, no, it's not me. And they had too many admin accounts. They had an old admin account that somebody had retired, and this other employee had been using it off and on just to clean up things because it had full admin access. And the IT manager figured that out on Sunday night. So Monday morning when they came in, it really hit. So they had at least a little bit of heads up. Again, don't look at the numbers. The numbers are skewed here. So going back to Verizon's data breach report, this is the median demand that the bad guys are asking for. According to them in 2020, this is from their 2025 report. It's gone down a little bit, $115,000. Well, I did a little Googling this week, just getting ready for here. I went to PurpleSec website. They said, no, the median request or median hit is 5.3 or 5.1 million. Verona said 2.7 million. So again, whoever depends, they're big numbers. We can just say that. We can also say who pays and who doesn't pay. This is coming from Verizon. It's going up who doesn't pay. I like to think that that's because people are more prepared. They have more backups. A lot of the encryption codes are out there. That's getting more and more prevalent. The codes are known, and we're able to spread them out there. We like to take a little credit for law enforcement, but not much. FBI will tell you that. We're not going to do that. So, and then kind of across the board, the other attacks that we see. So getting away, pig butchering, phishing are still the big ones. Investment scam is growing like crazy. Business email compromise is growing. Ransomware is still big. Going back to ransomware real quick, the numbers are not as high as far as the number of attacks. It doesn't matter because every attack has the potential to be crazy millions of dollars. And those numbers are going up. I don't care what IC3 says. Those numbers are bogus. The numbers are going up. So every little attack, every single attack could be a grandmother. It could be a monster. So just think about that as far as numbers. And then on top of that, these are just kind of the miscellaneous that we see. SQL injection still. Bad guys are e-skimming the websites, the payment processes. We talked about RDP. We talked about outdated operating systems. Default point of sale. We get a lot of point of sale hits. And it's slowed down a little bit. We had one a few years ago where a restaurant point of sale system went out, and it seemed like every restaurant in the world ordered up this new POS system. And nobody changed the default password. So, of course, one of the bad guys got a hold of what's the default password. Well, it's, I don't know, password 1. And so now, if I know you have that system, they're able to tap in there and grab all your credit card numbers. And how we get that from the banks, when the banks can trace it and they can follow the common point of purchase of, hey, these 10,000 credit cards are all being hit, reported as fraudulently used, and they all originate at, I don't want to pick on anybody, Burger King in Denver, Colorado, off University Ave. Then we can figure out, hey, University Ave, Burger King is using this point of sale system because they didn't change the password. Bad guy got in. So insider attacks, we've had a few insider attacks in Denver. Ex-employees get fired, they get upset, they get angry, they go in and they just delete information. We've seen a few of those. How to prosecute those is a challenge. How to get a prosecutor to go after that is hard for us. They don't seem to care. So people always ask, okay, if we get hit, who do we report it to? I know, some guys, some partners of ours know us. They know the FBI, they know CISA, they know HSI. Who do we report it to? I always say report it to whoever you feel comfortable to. If you've got a relationship with somebody, do it. Call them, hit them up. That's our task force email on the bottom, Mountain West Cyber Fraud Task Force. You want to get my email or you want to launch that, send it to me. That comes straight to me. If you want to join our task force, which we'll talk about here a little bit right now, you can also launch it there. But in the meantime, if you have an incident, local police are still great, especially for mom and pop shops, because they can respond right then and there. IC3.gov we've talked about. There's our Denver field office phone number if you want that. That's a 24-hour number. It's going to get to us eventually. It might not be at 3 in the morning, but it's going to get to us. And then there's our email. So how do we do this? We've talked about Secret Service, our mission. We investigate, we protect. We've started what we call our cyber fraud task forces. This started way back. The very first one was 1995 in New York City. And it was the only one up until 9/11. And after 9/11, as part of the Patriot Act, somebody in Congress, somebody's like, man, I really like how this works. So they broke it up, and so they demanded that we open up cyber fraud task forces all over the country. And we have. It's just taken us a little bit. Denver, we opened ours in 2012. We were one of the later ones. I think there's like 4 behind us. And then I think we're probably done. We've got London and Rome around the world as well. We've also got working groups in South America and Hong Kong. We had a working group in Ukraine. That's shut down since the war started. We've also got guys in, I'm missing a couple, in Peru. I think I mentioned South America, Bangkok. Australia we've got going now. So what we do is we partner up. We can't do anything in our world, even on the protection side, without our partners, without our state and local partners. We rely so heavily on them, and not a lot of people know that and recognize that except us. If we put together a presidential motorcade, and we could do one here in Salt Lake City, we're going to go to Salt Lake Police Department, we're going to go to Utah Highway Patrol, we're going to go to Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. They're going to send all kinds of resources, cars, people, SWAT teams, guns, knives, blade, you name it. They're going to give that to us, and they're going to lend it to us for a couple days or a couple hours. We basically taken that model and thrown it right back into this model. So I like to point out real quick, can you guys even see New York City on that map? I don't think you can. But you can sure as heck see Denver, yeah. And you see all that area? I like to pound my chest a little bit and say, look at that, baby. Okay. This is who we are. We've got partnerships, federal, state, and local partners, and we're there just to help each other out. If somebody gets a call and we can't answer it, which happens a lot, we're not experts in everything, we can reach out to somebody that is. We've got the attorney's offices when they do pick up, and we got our private partnerships. Our private partnerships are actually growing faster than our law enforcement partnerships. We've got a lot of CISOs, a lot of small mom and pop shop companies. We've got some larger companies in the Denver area that love to be part of us. Western Union, Dark Owl, Contrast, some of these guys that are there in headquarters love to be part. They've got guys that come to our meetings. We've got quarterly meetings. We've got a meeting next week in the Denver Police Department. We've got a vice president from Trend Micro coming to talk to us, John Clay. If any of you guys know John, he's going to come talk to us along with one of my analysts who did a big, great presentation on deep fake and AI attacks. So this is what we do. We just try to help each other out, and this is what we have to offer. At the end of the day, again, we're cops. We want to arrest somebody, but we also know when they go overseas, we're not always going to be able to go over there. But we've had some success. Actually, this last year, our New York field office grabbed 4 guys. I know the FBI's gone after they actually arrested a couple guys in Nigeria last year for a sextortion attack that a young man in Michigan committed suicide. You guys probably saw that in the news. Huge press. The FBI actually went into Nigeria and grabbed 2 guys. That hasn't happened in a long time, because usually those countries don't cooperate with us. Most of this goes to the Ukraine. Most of it goes to North Korea or Russia, or those Eastern European countries that don't want to work with us. But what can we offer? This is what we can: subpoenas, consulting, or if anything, just contacts, and we can try to. If we can't answer it, we'll put you in touch with who can. And if anything, training, awareness, that's what we're doing today. We can come talk to you. Kim's been a great partner. She's asked me to do this. This is my second year now in a row with you guys here in Salt Lake. I spoke in Denver, got other partners that have come and gone into these kind of conferences. So that's what we're trying to do, is just kind of spread the knowledge. This is our task force. This is how we're made up. We're up to about 370 plus members. Again, when we started with 12, and they were all law enforcement. And then our private partners have just blown up, just because they like to be in the know. I send out notifications every week. I get stuff from Verizon, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, Recorder Future, whoever it might be. I just launched that out. Hey, if you guys are seeing this more than we are, and then if you guys have an attack, and we've had this, you guys have an attack, you can kick it to me and say, hey, can you spread the news? And then within seconds, I can put that in an email and launch it to everybody. We've had that a couple municipalities getting hit with all kinds of malware, so we launch it, around the Denver area. So I'm almost out of time. I want to leave time for questions, but let me finish up on this. This is how we work. This is how we work protection. Basically, picture the president in the middle. We have perimeters. We build our perimeters. We have an inner perimeter, which are pretty much just our special agents, police, maybe some barricades. If he was on the stage, there'd be like bike rack or something in between him and you and the crowd. Our middle perimeter, we're going to have police, bike rack, police barricades, concrete barriers. Outer perimeter, counter snipers, helicopters, you name it. So that's how we work. And every time we have a visit, we try to get better, and we try to learn, and we have to adjust, right? 1963, we didn't really learn a whole lot. We were taught a lot, but we failed, right? We know how this ended. Who in the right mind would put a president in a moving vehicle in the middle of nowhere, or in the middle of a city and driving through Dallas, Texas? Nobody back then thought, oh my gosh, somebody might hurt him, right? Well, we haven't learned anything, because who in the right mind would put him on a stage in a field, a farmer's field, and think, yeah, we can get away with that, right? So we're learning just like you are. But every time we make a mistake, we got to learn. We got to learn from it. We got to change. We are changing. There's been a few changes as Secret Service has implemented. They're very slow changes, and they're frustrating when you're on this side of it, when you're looking at it. So I get where you are, because you see the threats, you see the problems, and your CISO or your CFO or your CEO is not listening to you. I get it. Don't give up. Keep going, because you're going to save the day eventually. I promise you. But these are some of the lessons learned that I've seen just over the last few years, dealing with our victims, dealing with our partners, the things that they've passed on. And some of these are very basic. Some of these you're like, yeah, dude, everybody knows that. That's okay. Not everybody in this room implements it, because not everybody in this room has control over it, because your CFOs, your CEOs don't allow you. But these are just some of the major ones. Multi-factor authentication, you guys have said that enough. Segmenting your network, huge when it comes to ransomware. Performing regular assessments and exercises. If you're in the Denver area and you want help with that, call me. We'll help you. Or we'll put you in our task force, and I'll tell you who can do that. And then police your admin accounts. It's amazing how many people get hit, and they get in and they realize, oh my gosh, our old CISO's user account's still there. Maybe not the CISO, but maybe an account manager or somebody that retired, was fired, and it's still there, has full user access. Once bad guy gets in, now he's got full user access. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, I spoke way long. I've lost my voice. Usually don't speak that long, but and there's my email. There's the task force email again. Kim wanted me to ask. She wanted me to leave time for questions, so it looks like we got about 10, maybe 15 minutes of questions. Anybody? Yes, sir. Actually, we got a microphone right there. Sorry.
So we report things to the Secret Service. You guys end up sitting on a tremendous amount of threat intel. Where is the U.S. Secret Service threat intel feed coming back out to all of us as professionals that we can use so that we're not next on that ransomware list or pig butchering list?
So we do try to share. I share with my partners. So get on a task force, number one, I'd say. Number two, I can only control what they send me, right? So if our mothership guards it, there's nothing I can do about it. I've actually gotten in trouble because I get the alerts, the red alerts, and you guys know the clear, the amber, not amber, the TLP, thank you. And I get red, I don't know what else is out there, and I've launched them out. And then some of my partners have gotten me in trouble because it came back around and I got in trouble. That's a great question. And that's on us to share. We need to share more. I'll tell you anything you want to know. You want to know? You want to know? But I can only share with you what I'm given. And I'm giving you pretty much everything I've gotten. Like those 2 ransomware attacks I told you about, those were the best 2 that we've gotten our hands into. That was Black Cat ransomware, by the way, but that's 2-3 years ago. So that's old stuff. Now we're on to even more sophisticated. So my suggestion is jump on a task force. If anything, just get on the email distribution list, and we'll launch out to you what we can get. I get it. Big Brother should stop being Big Brother to that extent, and we need to be better. I mean, 9/11 happened because NSA, CIA, and FBI didn't talk to each other, and then we created Homeland Security, and not one of those 3 are part of that. It was weird, right? It's a stupid response. One of these days, I'll really tell you how I feel. Give me some lemonade, and I'll really tell you. But yeah, you're right. We're failing on that department. So, yes, sir.
My 85-year-old mother-in-law is marrying an 86-year-old guy that she's known for 3 weeks. He appears to have money. We can't figure out if there's a scam, and just wanted to see, they're getting married on Saturday. Just wanted to see if there's something that throws up a red flag for you and what it might be and what you've seen.
Well, what are they serving for dinner? And I'll come hang out. So. What kind of cake are they having? I love chocolate. So, no, that's a huge red flag. I mean, anybody, they've known each other for 3 weeks. So I don't know if it was me, if it was my mother, and I've had this conversation with my mother before. My older brother's here too. I think he's had this conversation. My mom became a widow about 4 years ago, and I sat down with her before I left. She lives here in Utah. She lives in St. George. And before I left St. George to go back to Denver, I sat down. I said, Mom, you are now a victim, or you're now a target. You just crossed over the line. Now you're even bigger target because you're by yourself. And it's amazing. Within I don't know, a few months, she got hit. And every time she got hit, she would send it to me. I would say, take a screenshot, send it to me. And one was through Facebook Direct Messenger. One was through text. One was through email. And every one of them she sent to me. And I think there was a phone call in there. I just sit down with them and try to talk sense into them. I mean, what else can you do? And that's what we do. And that's why I don't mean to vent to you, but I'm going to vent to you for a second. It is frustrating as hell to be on this side of it. I mean, somebody walks in your office and says, I've lost $1 million, and you convince them that, hey, this is bogus, and they're going to just continue to do it. I can't do anything for you. We had a gentleman, I missed this one, we had a gentleman, $750,000, phishing. I don't know how it started. Met this guy, flew to London from Denver. His younger son, this guy was probably 60s, mid-60s. His son went with him to meet the guy where they're sending the money, and they walk away, and the son thought the dad would be killed. Like he thought he was going to kill him. So the son went to safety. They walk away from the meeting, and dad's like, oh yeah, I'm all in. And the son's like, it is complete trash, dude. That guy is completely bogus. So to answer your question, I don't know the answer, other than try to maybe slap him. Okay, I'm half joking. Okay, yeah. That wasn't it's frustrating. But the bells and whistles and the red flags should be screaming right now. 3 weeks, 85, 86-year-old. Does your mom have money?
She's got a
she's a target. If you got anything, you're a target, 100%. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I actually don't have a question, but I actually stood behind my mother's car to stop her from going to the bank to pull Bitcoin out, and she did not believe me. I finally chased her down and pulled the phone out of her hands and hung up. That's how I stopped her.
Fantastic. And that reminds me, one of the Bitcoin ATM machines, I failed to mention this one. There's a couple cops, one's in Idaho, one's in Minneapolis. They've gotten really aggressive with ATM. You go to a lot of convenience stores. Let's just pick on Sinclair because we're in Utah. A lot of Sinclair stations have ATM Bitcoins, machines. So elderly people walk in there constantly and will just sit there and deposit thousands of dollars. A lot of states are now changing the laws. I think Colorado just passed. I think you can only deposit, I think it's $2,000 a day into a Bitcoin ATM machine for this very reason, to stop this, because daughters, sons have gotten in the way trying, Mom, Dad, this is bogus. There's a great video, if you can Google it out there, of a cop walking into an ATM store or a convenience store, and a victim is just pumping in money into this ATM, Bitcoin ATM. And the cop is trying to convince the guy it's bogus. And the guy almost comes to blows with the cop, which I was like, great, do it. Arrest him. Take him away. Put him in jail for a day. Let him calm down. Let him realize that, hey, this is garbage. It's bogus. So there are some things out there, some states and legislation are trying to get in the way of that by slowing it down. But maybe that's what it comes to. Getting in the way of the car, or cut up I don't know. I mean, you gotta get creative, and think outside the box. What works for your family or your people or your employees or whoever it is.
Sorry, are there any safety protocols that banks have that we can turn on an account, or that they have available that we don't know about?
So, go ahead. Yeah. So the banks, most of the time, especially a lot of mom and pop shop banks, smaller banks, most of it's up to the employees. The employees can get involved. We've had calls from like a smaller bank from employees saying, hey, this guy's sending a lot of money. He's a regular customer. He's sending hundreds of thousands of dollars. That employee probably was going to get in trouble, but those banks can slow it down, and they can at least notify like their manager and say, hey, let's slow this down. And then that's where that indemnification comes in. They can reverse that if they feel like there's suspicious activity. Outside of that, I don't know if there's end-all, be-all. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there an end-all, be-all financial institution rule? I don't know of any, but there might be something. I mean, laws are changing every day, and maybe I'm just not notified of it. But we had a great one. A guy, a huge company in Denver, got hit with a BEC attack. In fact, I think that was the slide. They transferred the money to 2 small banks in Ohio, backwoods Ohio, and they had this old guy who was the money mule. So he was instructed to go into the bank, withdraw $300,000, walk across the street, and wire the $300,000 somewhere else. And an employee of that bank that saw the guy, he knows the guy. He comes in every day, every Friday. Bill's in there. He knew who he was, so he called an investigator, called the cops. They just went and talked to him, just hey, can we talk to you? And he confessed, yeah, I've met the love of my life. It's a girl up in Montana, and come to find out it was going overseas. So, yeah. Did that answer your question?
Is Bitcoin ever recoverable?
Bitcoin is recoverable. It's tough, but it is. If we can find it and seize it, and we can seize it administratively, we have seizure powers. If we can freeze it, then we can grab it. Most of the time, crypto goes into exchanges that they won't cooperate with us. If it's in Coinbase or one of the big ones, yeah, they'll cooperate. But you get into these obscure ones, and we have no recourse. We have nothing to hold over their head. People want this decentralized. Guess what? You got what you wish for. It's decentralized. Big Brother can only do so much. And if that's what they want, guess what? That's what they got. So we have had a little bit of luck. in season some of these, but if we jump on it early and it hits an exchange that we have a little bit of say in, or they cooperate, then yeah. But if not, guess what? It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Speak really loud.
Just in working with other agencies, ATF, all the other agencies, what's your biggest barriers to entry, and how have you been able to start to break some of those down?
So our biggest one is just cooperation and communication. We've been called on like a ransomware attack, and we'll go out, and then our partners find out, and we try to call them and say, hey guys, we're here. Do you guys want to go out? And sometimes they kick back like, no, we don't have time, we don't have the resources, so you guys just run with it. It doesn't always reciprocate. So sometimes we see in the news that such and such a company got hit with a ransomware attack, and some of our partners, the FBI, I'll just stick with them, don't always call us back. But that's okay. That's just cooperation and communication. I will plug, and I bag on the FBI. They do have their InfraGard, which is very similar to our task force. InfraGard's more even on a probably grander scale. And I strongly suggest, I encourage you to go join them. Go join them, because they're going to get intel just like we're going to get intel. It might not be the exact same intel, and we don't always share with each other. We're not always 100% about that. So I strongly suggest go join both of them. But to answer your question, it's your cooperation, communication and cooperation. And we're just like everybody else. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have great relationship. I got a great relationship with our FBI guys in Denver. If you go to the guys in LA, not so much. So that's probably the biggest thing. So I think I'm out of time. One more.
What would be your advice just to talk to senior leadership or executives that say, oh, if we get ransomware, we don't want to report it. Don't involve any, law enforcement. We're afraid they'll come in and take over, push us out, seize our assets, say, oh, it's evidence, you can't access it anymore. What can we say to them during tabletops? Like, you don't need to be too afraid of that. Does that happen? What can we say to them?
I think what I would say is, wouldn't you have liked to have known this was coming if, say, your competitor got hit? Not your competitor, but say your sister or your mother company got hit and they didn't share it with us. We could have avoided all of this if they had just communicated. And we can do the same for our company, our subsidiaries. And I don't want to say competitors, because you don't care about your competitors. You hope your competitors get hit with the ransomware. I get that. And that's all it is. We're just, if you don't share and you don't communicate, all we're doing is kicking the can down the road, and we're forcing somebody else. If a bank gets robbed that's on this street here, and they don't notify all the other banks, guess what? All the other banks are now suspect, and now they're even more suspect because guys are on the loose. And they could become, Johnny Utah or the ex-presidents from Point Break, right? They could come into your bank, and they just hit the bank down the street. Well, if they put out the all call, hey, I know that bank just got hit. Guess what? We could be next. The same thing with our companies in cyber world. If we don't share, then guess what? We're going to become the victim as well. And you could take them back, say, hey, if we had talked, we could share. We could have helped all of these other people avoid the same attack that we got. You don't have to give up your name. We're not going to give up your name. Did I tell anybody's name here? I made up Wells Fargo. It's not Wells Fargo. We're not going to talk about the companies. We'll talk about you, but we're not going to talk about who you are and your names. We just want to share. That's one of our biggest things. Deter it is to share the information, and we'll stop it. So that's what I'd use. You obviously can see I don't have all the answers. You guys have the answers. You guys are who we rely on, and so please. If you have intel, please share it, and we'll do our best to share it with you. But we're only as good as what we've been given. We only know what we know. And so, I strongly suggest if you can join a task force, do it. If you have something you can share with us, do it. But keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, that's it.
An hour is not long enough for Derek. I think we could have sat here and asked him questions for hours. The good news is he's going to be sitting on our panel today at 4 o'clock. So I'm sure that's going to be a really great panel. We have some other people joining him. So thank you, Derek, again. He's done several keynotes for him, and It's just great information for all of us. So we are going to take a 30-minute break so the staff can come and clean up. They have dessert over there